All right, this one's going to be a fun one. Colby Covington versus Ian Garry. Two guys that are really hated by MMA fans are now going at each other. And this fight actually makes a lot of sense and is becoming more and more intriguing because of the stuff they're putting out against each other. So I just want to take a deep dive and analyze the videos that they've been putting out. So this all kind of started with the rise and now peak of Ian Garry hate and fans honestly just enjoying hating on him and making memes about him, specifically about him and his wife. And on Colby's side, his stock is way down after taking a huge layoff, getting gifted a title shot, and then having arguably his worst performance of his career. So with the Ian Garry stuff happening, Colby started to ride that wave and pile on top of it.
How many of you guys have Ian Garry's wife?
Which then led to the call out by Ian Garry.
You know what I want. His name's Colby Covington.
Then shortly after, and about a month ago, he put out a video trying to amplify the Colby Covington call out.
I got one more survey for you all. For all the people out there, how many of you guys have Ian Garry's wife?
Here's the thing. Ian posted this video. This is the first line of his video against Colby Covington. And it's like, I get why, because he's about to set it up of like kind of like the reasoning why he's calling out Colby Covington, although there's other reasons. But it's still just weird starting off your video that you posted with Colby saying that about your wife. But anyways.
There's one guy I want next, and I've been saying his name all week. His name's Colby Covington. That guy's on a 3-fight spree against world champions, and I want to retire you from the UFC, Colby.
Yeah, okay, so there it is. Colby's on the downhill and at the same time still ranked 4th. And so in Ian's eyes, he's like, I can get a lesser Colby Covington, take his 4th ranking, now be top 5 at welterweight and maybe get a title shot next. And it's personal because he's talking about my wife and he's a big name guy, so I get some stardom off of that. So all those factors play into account why this call out and this fight makes a lot of sense. And on Colby's side, it makes sense why he's entertaining it because there's so much attention on Ian Garry right now, specifically with his wife's situation. So now he gets to take advantage of that and win fans back because he's getting more hate than he's ever got in his career. Okay, then he goes on, blah, blah, blah. See, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna make everything. Okay, there it is. I'm gonna make you regret everything you said. You know, you talked about my wife, blah, 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 blah. It was real quiet for like 2 weeks. Then Colby comes out with this video in response.
Greetings, nerds and virgins. It's America's champ, the people's champ, Donald Trump's favorite fighter.
Here's the thing. I got to give him credit because I honestly was saying, look, the shtick is up after that Leon performance, after everything you said, after all that time off, you were gifted a title shot and you performed like that. Obviously, the foot and everything, it doesn't matter, right? Like the shtick is up, bro. Right? Even afterwards, he's talking about all this stuff and the Donald Trump and this. I'm like, it's over, bro. Like, it's over. Right? And then he's still going and winning fans back as we're starting to see with these videos.
We're in beautiful sunny South Florida. Most people, they work 60 years just to get a taste of the good life. This is what I live every day. We just shot 18 holes at Trump International, West Palm Beach. Now we're out here selling on 7 figures and salty nerd tears.
Nice.
Usually when you're out here, it's all about fishing. Everybody knows when you're going fishing, it's important to have the right bait.
He's setting it up.
Let me teach you all a lesson about how you bait someone. Ian Garry, you translucent.
That was a good line. That was a good line. So obviously we all know about the things that he's saying about Ian, blah, blah, blah. But the translucent part was a nice touch too because Ian Garry, like me, is pale as hell.
You wanted my attention? Now you got it. Everybody knows why you want to fight me, Ian. I'm the biggest star in the division. It's big city, bright lights, and the most attention and eyes you're ever going to have on you. When
that is true, right? Colby is the biggest name and also on the downhill, like this is exactly what I just mentioned, right? The big name of Colby, you know, there's a huge advantage to that, right? You obviously want to fight guys with a big name, so you're not the one carrying the card and the fight.
But everybody knows, Ian, you missed your chance. You had your chance in December to step on the same stage as me and have a microphone and say whatever you want to say to me. But you were scared.
Right.
You were scared of what I was going to say to you, and you got the sniffles, and you cried your way out. That's
the thing. Him missing out on that press conference was huge. Of course he was sick and he had valid reasons not to go, but him, like optically, him missing out that press conference on the verge of all that talk, that was your opportunity to kind of go head to head and battle with Colby and everyone else. But you know, that was a huge missed opportunity.
Just a taste of what I could do to you, Ian. All I did was ask the 5,000 people in attendance how many people banged your wife. It's not my fault every single one of them rose their hand. If you're scared of that, Ian, if you're scared of words, what do you think it's gonna be like when you step in a steel cage with chaos? You just went life and death with a guy that does this part-time and is a busboy out back. Dude serves bloomin' onions for a living. And you went to a split decision with that guy? Now you want Donald Trump's favorite fighter? That's a big step up in competition, Junior. You're biting off more than you can chew. You know what? I'm a giving man.
That's the thing. I think it's a great, I think it's great timing for Ian, actually. And I think Ian, especially after watching that Leon fight, he's like, I can do that to Colby too.
I'm a kind man. I like to give everyone a chance. So everybody knows, Ian, what's in it for you. But what's in it for me? Tell me, why do I gotta go down in the rankings to fight some Casper the Ghost looking Irish kid who has a gold digging wife? Let me teach you the art of the...
Well, okay, so the line is good, but the thing is, Colby knows what's in it for him, right? You're beating a rising up and coming guy who's getting a lot of hate, and you can win fans back because of that. And look, you've been losing a lot. Doesn't matter if it was championship fights and high caliber guys. You've been out of the game for a long time. You haven't fought that many times recently, and you're losing, right? So when you're losing, you got to fight down.
Deal, Ian. Let's come to a compromise. If you can meet these 3 stipulations, we got to fight. Stipulation number 1. You and that gold digging whore got to turn your Instagram comments back on. And if you turn them off before the fight...
I shouldn't be surprised because it's Colby. Like, he says stuff like this all the time. But let's go back.
Your Instagram comments back on.
Yeah, that's the one.
If you turn them off...
That's the thing. Your Instagram comments are off. It's like, it's so easy to get hate just from that fact. Doesn't matter what you're saying. Doesn't matter how right you are. You turn your comments off and you try to shut the people out. They're going to just amplify the hate because of that. And that being said, people are going to download your video, put it on Twitter, and then talk just as much-ish anyways, right? So it's like, it's all the same thing.
Before the fight, you forfeit the fight. If you turn them off, turn your Instagram comments back on. And if you turn them off before the fight, you forfeit the fight. If you turn them off during fight week or after I beat your ass, you forfeit your purse. Stipulation number 2. Ian, we've heard...
Okay, that's funny, but obviously that won't happen, but... It's funny, because it's like... He's riding with what this is like Colby is doing what the fans would want him to do in this situation.
You cry and beg on your knees, but we all know that you're not the boss and you don't wear the pants in the relationship. Layla, you got 60 seconds to convince me and the people why this fight needs to happen. So put your husband in the corner, get on your hands and knees, and beg. Now for stipulation number 3, my personal favorite.
Man, no, that was... Oh, that's tough. That's tough. And that's the thing. It's like, when it doesn't matter if like the allegations are true, it really doesn't matter. Just just because people are going with this narrative, he can just easily just pop on top of it and be like, you sit in the corner, you do your thing, you beg. Like, it's so easy. It's just so easy. And it's like, it's funny, bro. Like, it's funny. And like, that's why if I'm in Ian's shoes, it's like, you gotta go. Anyways, I'll get into that later.
As you all might have noticed, something's been missing from my MyBookie promos lately. That's because I've been saving that spot for a special
Oh, no.
Layla, you want to be a star? You want the spotlight? I got it for you, sweetie.
Oh,
you want your 15 seconds of fame, Layla? I'll give you your 15 seconds of fame right here for America's Pick of the Week. After I beat your husband, because that's a foregone conclusion, I will beat him. He's going to sit in the corner just like he does with all that stuff you guys do.
Oh my God.
He's going to watch while you get your 15 seconds of fame.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, obviously this is stupid, but it's so funny. It's the perfect response to the people saying like, yo, where are the girls that like, have you lost money like that, you know, since you lost to Leon, so like you don't do that anymore. And then on top of that, he's then attacking Ian and his wife by saying you're replacing those girls. Like, I've been saving that spot for you. So it's the perfect response. It's funny. And it's like, it's tough. Like, that's a huge, like, that's in terms of the video and what the purpose of the video was, it's a W, right? We all know that. That was a huge W. You put him in your place. You play off the stuff that people are saying about you, Colby, and he's going at Ian and his wife for the things that people are going at them about, which is perfect. That was the perfect response. So now, Ian, like, you got to come up with some response, right? You got to go on the offensive. Like, what are you going to do now that Colby set, you know, the stipulations, all this stuff? If I'm Ian, I don't play into that, because then you give Colby the power. But what he does next is, it sucks. Let's just say that.
You got 24 hours to respond.
I'll respond in my own time. Don't rush me.
What was that? Like, what? By doing that, you technically did respond. But it was a response that was saying, I'm not going to respond yet. It's kind of like, just wait because I'm still thinking of things to say. It's like, That's like the worst thing he could have done. He should have just waited. Then after the 24 hours, because you don't want to do it with him because then you give him the power. You wait after, then you put it out, and then you go at him on the offensive. That was a huge L for Ian. And Colby, again, takes another W there. But then Ian puts out his actual video, and then let's see what happens there.
Listen here, Colby Chaos Covington. You are in no position to tell me what I should be doing in life.
Fair.
You'll do as you're told.
Oh, come on, bro. See, he could have said anything else similar to that, but he said the exact line that Connor said. And it just goes to another reason why people are annoyed sometimes by him, but you're like copying Connor, right? And I get it, he's a huge inspiration, but like, don't say the exact line, because now you don't look like your own man. This is not your own response. You're using someone else's words to help you with your response. But anyways, a rough start already.
You'll do as you're told.
This is good. You know, he put his losses. This is good.
You gave me 3 stipulations, all of which had nothing to do about fighting, but we're all talking about my wife.
Yeah.
Layla.
You should know why. Like that's the thing to target. It's the same thing as Dylan Dennis, right? You target, the girlfriend or whatever of Logan Paul, the fiance, whatever, at the time. Like that's what the people are going with. So you're gonna and you could say for Dylan Dennis he went too far and he was like just went at Logan's girl like without any context. Colby has context to do so because there's a huge narrative around it.
Layla, get on your hands and knees and beg.
I don't know how you were raised, but women aren't property and my wife definitely ain't no trophy. You should be focusing on me.
He's trying to be noble, but this isn't a noble battle. If you're going to engage, you can't be noble. That's the thing. But let's see where he goes.
I'm the one who's in that octagon with you. I'm the one who's going to punch a hole in your head. So stop swerving me and keep Layla's name out your mouth.
How many of you guys have fucked Ian Garry's wife?
You're not.
Why would you put that clip again? Like, why is he putting that clip again? You're like, keep my wife's name out your mouth. And he puts a clip of him saying his wife's name and it's talking about banging his wife. Like, why are you, like, what are you doing? Like, it's also not, it doesn't sound threatening when he's saying it either. That's why it's kind of like, right now, Ian's going on the defensive, right? I'm defending these points that you said rather than ignoring it and just going on the offensive and going at Colby. But let's see, he'll go up, we'll see what he does in the rest of the video.
America's favorite fighter. What you are is a peak underperformer.
Ooh.
You're the only person in UFC history to lose 3 world title fights, and you haven't got a single win against anybody in the top 15 right now.
See this?
Colby,
there it is.
Why should I fight you?
There it is. There it is. That's what you do. That's what you say. Those are the points you got to make. But it took like a minute into the video to get there. But those are the right points. That's how you go at Colby. And the thing about that too, it's the truth and it's a fire line. It's the truth and it's a fire line. So you get 2 birds with 1 stone there. That's how you respond. But all that stuff before, you don't need to do that.
Why should I fight you?
Nice.
I can think of one reason. I challenge you to an I quit match where one of us has to say, I quit.
This is...
And whoever says the words I quit has to retire. Gloves off, center of the octagon, sayonara.
See, that's the thing too, is like, you could say, okay, the loser has to retire. That's kind of like a stipulation you can kind of throw out there that makes sense kind of, and is, it kind of fits, it just fits. But the whole WWE thing, I quit, like, that's kind of like out of nowhere. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. It's just kind of out. There's too much out there. It's like, I quit match. I'm like, you're actually going to fight. So it's like, you don't need to put that in there.
My friend, I'm going to be the final chapter in your legacy of failure.
Nice. That's a good line.
I am going to rid the UFC of Colby Covington for good. And I'm going to make MMA great again.
There it is. Okay, see, that is a good ending. That's how you should be saying it. I'm going to make MMA great again. That one is kind of, okay, you're playing off his thing again. You're playing off someone else's thing, which is Colby's thing, which I get. I don't know how I feel about that, but the rest just being like, I'm going to be the one to end your career failure, right? Underperforming, like that's the whole thing about Colby. So use that more, right? He could have kept it shorter, sweeter, and done that. But anyways, his points were solid. It's just all the stuff around it, not the best. So now Colby responds to that video.
Greetings, nerds and virgins. It's America's champ. And as you can see, there's nothing behind me. Just like Ian Garrys' resume. We all saw your cringy ass video, Ian. And they'll do what you're told line only works when you're the A-side or Conor McGregor, not Corner McGregor.
Oh man, see oh my God. See, that's why you don't say that line, because now you're attaching to someone else. He uses you, and then corner McGregor, like, that's why you don't say that line. That's why I was saying don't say that line. Now you attach yourself to someone else. He uses that and makes a nickname out of it. Like, that could end the video right there. You could end the video right there.
You said a lot of dumb shit, but there is one thing that I'll agree with you on.
My wife definitely ain't no trophy.
Layla's not a trophy.
Oh my.
She's a participation award at best.
Oh my
which is
God.
fitting for you in your generation.
Oh my God. See, this is smart. He's playing off his words and then making something out of it. So making something fresh and new out of it. Like, that's genius. Using his own line against him. Like Colby, this is how you know Colby is in the trash talking game. He knows how to do this right. And it's just, he's showing the levels. Say what you want about the fight, but the trash talking stuff, Colby is just like, it comes so easily.
You're a Gen Z beta, and the only time you do any dictating is when you're on your knees for the nutritionist.
Oh my God.
You're asking for gimmicks you don't even comprehend, Junior. An I quit match implies there's no disqualification and no time limit. No commission would ever approve that. And besides, we already saw you.
Honestly, Colby didn't even have to address the I quit thing. But this is kind of like, this is not really needed.
We already saw you quit in December before the press conference.
Oh, no, there it is.
You want to talk about what I'm
there
famous
it is. He
for?
keeps bringing stuff up that he actually did. Well, I don't want to say he didn't quit. Like, he was, sick and all that stuff. He's obviously, no one would fight in that condition. But he's just bringing stuff up that happened, and then like he's just putting it in his face, and it's working.
Talk about what I'm famous for in my title fights. The only thing you're famous for is parading around a nutritionist sloppy seconds like she's Miss Universe. She's a 4 at best.
It's funny, but it's like he's now it's starting to repeat itself a lot. He's using the same thing over and over and over again. But it works. It just works. That's the thing. He's using the same thing but in different contexts. And it's working. Well, come on. We have to admit, she's not a 4, bro. Like, let's be honest.
So here it is one last time. Agreed to the stipulations. Stipulation number 1, turn on the comments.
Yeah.
Stipulation number 2, record Layla begging. Stipulation number 3, agree to the MyBookie promo, and we got to fight.
There you go.
Otherwise, I'm fighting someone higher ranked this summer, and you're doing what you do best, sitting there and watching all the action.
Oh, that was a bar. That was a bar. Again, just ends it with the punch right there. It's like, damn. You could say Colby needs this fight. You can say that. So him saying that he's going to fight someone higher in the summer, I got to see. Let me see. He's not fighting Shavkat. There's no way. Bilal's getting the title shot next. Imagine if he fights Shavkat, though. Hold on. There's no way Colby fights Shavkat. There's no way. If Colby actually fights Shavkat in the summer, okay, credit to him. But I would be shocked if that was the case. Bilal's supposed to be fighting for a title next. It like has to be Bilal. There's no other way. Like, come on. Unless he fights Kamaru. But I still think the Ian Garry fight would be the biggest right now, especially with all this stuff. That's the thing. When you play into this, it's making it the biggest fight. All right, so now Ian made some good points, but overall, Colby's been dominating this. It's just too easy to come at Garry with that stuff. And if I'm Ian, I would have just went more into the offensive with Colby and kept it shorter and sweeter. If you don't have, much else to say, don't try to defend yourself. And it's just like, it doesn't help with this back and forth. It just doesn't help. Keep going at Colby. And what does he do? He goes on the exact opposite. He then gets his wife to defend him. Either ignore Colby or go full offensive against him and do what you were doing when you made those points. And if you don't have anything else more to say, then end it at that and leave it. But to go on the defensive, it's just not good optically and just doesn't really help your case. But now to get your wife to do the defensive work for you, that's an L. That's an L. The reason is because the narrative around them is based around a lot of things that are probably lies, to be honest. But the thing is, the truth don't matter. Like in these situations and these beefs and back and forth, and you're having a trash talk competition, basically, and kind of like a meme competition, the truth don't matter. Whatever is funnier and more dramatic is what's going to sell and what people are going to believe.
Shall we do this? The top 3 lies you believed about Ian Machado Garry. There are obviously many, many more. I'd argue over 99% of what you read is a lie.
Again, like, who cares, right? Nobody cares that it's a lie, right? They'll believe what they want to believe if it's funny and dramatic. So all this 4 minutes of defending that she's going to do is honestly irrelevant and just looks bad on Ian.
The crowd at UFC 298 press conference were loud. The boos were undeniable behavior. But why would we expect anything else? Why would we expect anyone to fact check? We're in an age of headline only, attention deficit consumers looking really to validate.
Anyways, yeah, she's right though. Like, no one's gonna fact check because they don't care about the facts. It isn't about facts. It's about comedy, really. It's just about what's funny. Oh, you said something funny? Like that's what's gonna work. It's really just about what's funny and dramatic. Like, I don't know. It doesn't matter. She's right. So then why are you defending it? Like, there's no point in this. Right? And this definitely doesn't help Ian's case.
Lie number 2, his wife's ex lives with them. There's a pattern here. A lot of the lies are about his wife. I'm so glad she's finally clearing it up. No, he doesn't.
She said this before. This is the thing. She said this before. Again, the truth doesn't matter. But especially coming from her mouth, people don't want to believe it. Even if it is true, they're not going to believe it because it's coming from her.
Need to hit the numbers online to be au fait.
So she's basically just explaining. She's basically breaking down like why this is the case, of why people are talking about this, where this came from, the reason why people latch onto it. You know, it's on, and she's kind of right, like, about the situation. But again, it's like when you break down a joke, you kill it. And at the end of the day, that's what this is. It's a joke and a meme that people love to latch onto, and the narrative that they love to latch onto. So if you know this, then you either need to just ignore it and detach from it, or you go on the offensive about Colby and then make him the meme or whatever, right? That's how you do it. But you're doing this, especially when you're insulting like the people who are laughing at it, it's just not really going to help the case. Like, at the end of the day, if Ian keeps doing what he's doing and he's winning, he's performing well, like, none of it matters. Like, and they know this. That's what I'm saying. You don't need to make a 4-minute video.
With the Shakespearean English he unwittingly used when calling Ian a cuck. First penned in the story of Othello, the word cuckold refers
it does
to
not matter. It doesn't matter what it means by the official terms or whatever. People have their definition. The majority have their definition, and that's what they see it as. So when they hear it and they believe it, that's all it is. Like, that's what it's going to be at the end of the day. You talking about that doesn't really make a difference. Okay, if I'm being honest, I don't think anyone who was talking smack about Ian Garry and buying into this narrative and on Colby's side with all this is, first of all, watching this whole video, and second of all, going to be turning on Colby Covington and Sean Strickland and all that because of it. Right? That's just the reality. Anyways, so my thoughts overall, Colby gets the W, Ian gets the L when it comes to the trash talk. In terms of the fight, I think it's a great fight to make. I hope they make it, and I actually do think Ian wins the fight. But that being said, in terms of the trash talk, etc., it's a clear win for Colby, and he did it effortlessly. It seemed like on the Ian side, they were trying so hard and still lost. On Colby's side, he just kind of ran with what he knew was going to work, and he won. I'm not a fan of Colby's shtick. I'm kind of done with it, especially with his performances and lack of activity. But in terms of this, he did a great job, and he won, and it's easy. At the end of the day, though, the fight is what matters most. Let me know what you guys think about this whole back and forth, about the narrative around Ian Garry, the storyline of this fight, and who do you think wins this fight? Appreciate you guys. Talk to you later. Peace.